Hello. My name is Naisha Monet, and I am currently a freshman at Spelman, class of 2024. I am a health science major on the pre-med track, and I want to be a pediatrician. Alright, so let's break down into this video. So, as you all know, when you do decide to go to college, you will have core classes. Whether you're undecided or if you do choose a major like I did, you will have to take the core classes. The core classes are just classes that will be beneficial for any type of career. They're just essentially standard classes. Think of high school. You took standard classes and you took all those classes because they would be beneficial to some extent. Are they? Possibly. Will they be in your future? 50-50. But the key thing is we make our schedules just like you did in high school. You will talk to your advisor at some point just to go over your schedules and to clarify everything that is right with them, whether you need to drop a class, pick up a class, or make some changes for the next semester. Say for example, well actually this did happen to me. So my advisor, he suggested that I take a course over the new winter semester, which is a semester during the winter time that's going to be in between the fall and spring semester that they actually just started this year. He suggested I take a course over that semester so I don't get overwhelmed. But if you do decide to take that semester and you use your financial aid for that, like your government provided financial aid, you will not be able to use that financial aid for the spring semester. So I would have to come up with about $800 out of pocket. So I applied for the scholarship. Hopefully I get it. Scholarship. Yeah, so you can drop a class. It's not going to show that you completed the class. It's not going to show a grade for the class. It's just going to show that you dropped it. So essentially like an incomplete. Will dropping a class affect you? It will affect you, especially if you're going into something that requires a special professional school. So, you know, medical based, possibly engineering, nursing. I'm not sure about law school and like getting your master's for education. But law school, I have to ask my god sister about that. But yeah, so this semester, I'm not even gonna cap, it's been really stressful, like really stressful. And it's not even in the sense that it's such a large workload. The workload is manageable, but being online made it even harder because when we were given the option to go over when we were given the option to go over why do I keep starting off like that? When school let out due to the COVID-19 pandemic for my graduating class, we were given the option to stay and do it online or take the grades that you achieved from the first 3 semesters and not take any more classes. So, you know, naturally, if your grade was, decent, which I graduated with a 3.0, but I was still bottom of my class. I'll tell you about that in another video because I know people want some tips about that. My GPA was a 2.864, I believe, at the beginning of my senior year, and it was a 3.0 at the end. So I'll tell you about that as well. But yeah. So naturally, I had a 3.0. There wasn't too much moving up that I really wanted to do, so I just went away with it. I do get federal funding for my school. Spelman, if you haven't looked at the requirements already, if you are applying or you have applied, congrats. But financial aid from the school is not given unless you have a 3.5 GPA. But here's the catch. When they do it, they typically base it off of your GPA and the standardized test scores that you make. But since you're not doing the standardized test scores this year, I'm kind of curious about how they're going to do or assess financial aid to anyone. I guess it's really going to be heavily weighted on incoming essays and GPA, sorry. Let's see. Oh, back to classes. So classes have been stressful. It's more so the fact that not only are we online for this first semester, but we are, hopefully they let us go back next semester, but we are also fast tracking our semester this time around. So, and what do I mean by fast tracking? So, exactly what it means. Our semester typically ends in December for the fall semester, but because they decided to fast track our semester this year, our finals, like our last day of instructional, like new instruction, is November 11th, I believe. And our finals are all the way up until the end of this month, and grades need to be put in by Thanksgiving for our finals. Like, that's it. You're done. Like, you can't even, we are on such a tight schedule that if you were to turn in our last paper for my English class late, it wouldn't be able to go into the system because it wouldn't be graded on time. Like, that's how strict it is. But yeah, it's pretty, most of my teachers are pretty reasonable. I took 5 courses this semester. Most of them are just core classes, by the way. I took my my first year English composition class. I took pre-calculus. Also, you can exempt from some stuff. Just make sure that when you do exempt from certain criteria, that your dual enrollment credits, from a program where you're taking classes at a community college or something of that nature, just make sure they will fall into place with Spelman, because sometimes those courses don't work out and you will have to take that course again. So be on the lookout for that as well. I took a yoga and meditation class. I took intermediate Spanish, and I took my African diaspora in the world class. Okay, so the African diaspora in the world class, or ADW for short, it isn't a complicated class. It is a critical thinking based class, and it's very what's going on in the world. I mean, like, that's it. Literally, our topics start off with, our classes start off with what's going on in the world. We do have provided reading material that we are required to read, but it's generally just what's going on, what's happening with everybody, what's going on. Like, literally, it's just been election since October. Like, we were kind of thinking about it in August when we first started classes, but now it's like, you voting or what? But yeah, that's it for that class. You are required to take that class 2 semesters your first year, so you will be taking that. You are required to take a course called first year experience, but nobody's really pushed for that for us because we aren't on campus, so we're not really getting the first year experience. And a lot of the stuff that goes into that course we can't do at the moment, according to some upperclassmen that I have spoken with. My math class is pretty simple. It's not extremely difficult. It's just we have a set time period for everything, and if you don't, glance over everything within that time period, then it's kind of wonky. The way that she set up the class isn't bad, it was just kind of awkward when I would go to class on Monday. And by the way, when you pick your schedule, if you didn't know, every class is different. It's like AB days in certain high schools, but if you don't have that, it's essentially you take this class this day, this day, this day, and this day at this time. So one of my classes I have on Mondays and Wednesdays at 5. Two of them I have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 and 2. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have a class at 9, and I have a class at 1. But anywho, back to my schedule. So the math experience. My teacher was very nice, and she was very professional. And, I mean, she's a really good teacher. Like, because we are required to record all of our classes, you know, if you're missing out, she puts our recordings onto the school website. And I know if you're like not comfortable with privacy and stuff, you can opt out to have your camera off. The only days that you are required to be on camera is when you are taking a test or a quiz. And when you take the test or the quiz, you have to face your camera to your workstation, so it's not directly looking at you. It's just looking down at like the desk, pencil, paper. And those days aren't recorded, by the way. So that's a bit private. That's a bit of privacy. Yeah, everything was pretty thorough. So we would get our notes and our homework on Sundays at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, whatever. Yes, we would get our work then, and that would be our work for the week. And we would have an online section. Oh, can't talk. We have an online section that would be, you do these problems that the computer generates. Simple, right? Then we would have another section that would be, you do these problems from the book. Send me a copy of it, and I'm gonna grade it and send you back a copy of it. Because that's just how she wanted to do the work. We didn't manually type it in. We had to write it out, scan it, and upload it to our student database, which is called Moodle, by the way. So it basically has like, Moodle is the freaking best. So it has all of your schedule, like all of it, all of your classes, everything. Like, has all of your classes set in there. It has all of your resources in it. So syllabus, your syllabuses. I'm not sure about the plural form of syllabus, but you have the syllabus for all of your classes in there. You have all of your assignments listed. Certain due dates are in there as well. I mean, it's the best. Yeah, so you get your homework, you turn it in. When we meet up for class 3 times a week, we do discuss homework problems. So it'll be like, hey, I had a issue with such and such problem on this set of homework, and it's like, okay, she may ask what chapter it's in, but you know, I mean, that's standard. So it'll be like, okay, so how do you find this, and this? Here's this. And she does share her screen with us. It's okay. So she has a whiteboard, just like a giant little whiteboard in her room that she actually writes on sometimes. But lately she's been using her iPad, which is just as fine. So she'll use the iPad and she'll show us, okay, this is the problem, this is how you solve it. Do you have any questions? Or do you know why we got this answer? You know, stuff like that. It's pretty standard. I really like the class because I am a health science major, so I like math and science, obviously. My English class is so relaxed and laid back, and my teacher is so freaking sweet. Like, she's so sweet. She's really understanding. If you have issues in your freshman year, if you have any issues at all, I don't talk to my advisor often, but we do have counseling options. They're just not as readily available as they would be on campus, but we do have like access to them in a way. But for her, like, I had some family issues going on, and I emailed her and I was like, ugh, I'm pulling my eye. Huh. I had issues with my family, and I was like, hey, I had a death in the family. Is it possible for me to turn in my assignment a little late? And she was like, yeah, that's fine. Thanks for telling me. I'm so glad you told me. Like, I mean, if you do that with any of your teachers, they will, you know, give you some type of update. Sometimes they'll accept it and they'll understand. Sometimes they may not. I haven't had that reaction with my classes, with my professors, because all of my professors are really nice and really understanding. But that is, an option that you should take advantage of. If you need an extension, talk to your teacher. Let them know what's going on. Just say, I'm having an issue with it, or would you mind giving me an extension for a day? I've had a lot of work piled on from my other classes. It's kind of hard this semester because I'm still adjusting. Stuff like that. They will try to accommodate you. So yeah, like, we have a whole section that's legit just based on music. We literally just sit and listen to music and discuss it and interpret it. I mean, me writing a paper on a music video and the importance of the themes in that video, that's an easy grade. Like, that's an easy grade that's not only beneficial to improving your writing skills, it's also really fun. I mean, who doesn't like watching music videos? Who doesn't like music? Come on. Yeah, so she's really chill. My Spanish class, okay, so with my Spanish class, I am in intermediate Spanish, and it's not necessarily a bad class. It's like stuff that I learned in high school in Spanish, and I'm kind of reviewing it. But because it's so fast paced, it's hard to really catch on to certain stuff. So like, my vocabulary may be good, but I may not do so well on certain topics, such as like predicate versus imperfect, or say versus a star. Or it may be the opposite. I may focus on learning the grammar. I can think of the word. Learning the grammar rather than the vocabulary, and then I kind of forget the vocabulary. But normally the vocabulary is pretty easy to remember. It's just I need to work on grammar. Like, that's my biggest thing. So I've been like doing more of that over my free time, just because that's like something that I know that I'm struggling with, and I am gonna try to do better at, let's see. So I've talked about Spanish, I've talked about math, I've talked about English. Yeah, I've talked about my ADW class. Oh, my final class, yoga and meditation. Yoga and meditation is a really relaxing class, and I felt that it was really beneficial for this semester because, hello, it's my first semester. I'm online. It's already stressful. And then the fact that they decided to speed up the semester, even more stress. So I just thought that was really relaxing. I do have it really early. It's at 9. So I'm going to talk to you about morning classes right after I tell you about my experience with this class. My teacher, she was really nice, and she was really, like, she was just a really sweet lady. Like, that's all I have to say. When we did our class, she would play like soft music in the background. Keep in mind, we're all over Zoom. It's really fun. So we're all, we're chit-chatting, and we're listening to this soft music, and we're just stretching. Like, I mean, that seems like a good way to start your morning, and you're just like, and I take it 2 times a week, so I mean, it really helps because my like really like dense workload classes are on the days in between my yoga and meditation class. So it's a good idea. 10 out of 10 would recommend taking some type of yoga, meditation, or like some type of stress relieving class, because I know you're stressed and I know you're anxious. That's just standard. I know you're stressed. I know you're anxious. You're at a new place. You're with new teachers. You're with new people. Don't really know anyone. You're having a hard time with work. You know, you need to breathe at some point. But yeah, morning class. I wouldn't recommend a morning class per se unless you're a morning person. I am a morning person. I typically wake up at about 7, just standard. Why? I'm just used to it. Like, my body naturally wakes up at 7. I can go to sleep at 1 in the morning and wake up at 7. I can go to sleep at 3 in the morning and wake up at 7, or maybe 8. Depends on how my body feels. But yeah, I wake up really early standard. So taking that class was kind of like a no-brainer to me. And since I'm at home and my mom's working from home at the moment, whenever she wakes up for it, she wakes up at like 7 too. Well, 7, 6, around that area, and she'll come and she'll be like, "Hey, you up? What time's your first class? Do you want some breakfast?" And I'm like, "Breakfast? I was just finna eat a bowl of cereal." But yeah. Let's see. Should I talk about my classes next semester? I think I'm going to wait until my next semester is over with, just so I can give you an overview of what that one's going to be like, because I am going to be taking a class that is more so related to my course sequence. Okay, I should probably mention that too. A course sequence is an outline or a guideline of what courses you should take for your major. Generally, those are required courses that you need to take at some point, or some variation of them. Like, I have to take math, I have to take science, but there are certain ones that I can take. You get what I'm saying? So like, you can take this math. Like, I'm gonna be taking applied calculus next semester, so you can take applied calculus, or you can take another math class if that one's full, because we are freshmen. We do get the last pick for classes. I mean, that's just how it's always gonna be. Freshmen get picked last. So yeah, if that class is filled up, like, one of my classes that I really want to take is a science-based class with lab, and that class I have to take both at the same time, the lab and the course itself. So hopefully I can take it. And then, so we're actually about to start registration. I've already spoken with my advisor about my scheduling and taking care of what classes I should take next semester. So yeah, me and him we're cool now. Like, you took this, okay, you said you're gonna take that. That's cool. But yeah, I mean, we are doing our registration for the spring semester for Monday. Is it Monday? It's November 1st through November 5th. And then we're doing cross registration for specific programs that we take at other schools on the 9th through the 14th. Yeah, so that's going to be beneficial as well, because we do team up with Morehouse, if you didn't know. I mean, we're all girls school, they're all boys school. They're literally like 5 feet away from our school. We team up with them, take some courses there. They take some there. That's it. School is stressful, but you got it.